Welcome back to my channel. Today we are headed back in time to take a look at the career of the lovely Diane Brewster. Diane was born on March 11, 1931 in Kansas City, Missouri, where her father Philip was a successful lawyer and her mother was a homemaker. Diane attended Shawnee Mission High School, where she was a well-liked student who actively engaged in various school activities. She held the position of class secretary and was even chosen to be part of the homecoming court. Diane pursued a liberal arts degree at the University of Kansas after completing high school in 1949. While in college, Diane took a job as a secretary for a local radio station, hopeful that it would help her break into the entertainment industry. And while working at the radio station, Diane saw an opening for an MC spot on a local teenage radio program. But the catch was that it was an unpaid position, and it was at a competitor station, and Diane took the risk and pursued the opportunity, leaving her paying job behind. And her gamble paid off, as the MC job opened doors to a 9-week stint doing a live television commercial for the local telephone company, which led to even more commercial work. However, Diane's ultimate goal was to act in movies. During a 1960 interview, Diane shared that her interest in acting was sparked by her grandfather, R.R. Brewster, a well-regarded Missouri trial lawyer, who used to rehearse his courtroom speeches with a theatrical flair. She explained that he often included Shakespearean phrases in his arguments, which inspired her to pursue acting. By the mid-1950s, Diane was residing in Los Angeles, where she worked as an announcer on the Ina Ray Hutton Show and took minor, often uncredited film roles. Diane portrayed the character of Samantha Crawford, a con woman, in an episode entitled Dark Rider on the 1956 TV Western series Cheyenne. She later appeared as the same character in 4 episodes of the ABC Western show Maverick, alongside James Garner. Diane received a lot of praise for her portrayal of Samantha, who was beautiful and charming and had a knack for manipulating men. 1957 also brought Diane the second-grade teacher role of Miss Canfield on the first season of Leave It to Beaver, and Diane played a significant part as a central figure in the show's premiere episode. On October 4th, 1957, the episode Beaver Gets Spelled aired on CBS. In this episode, Miss Canfield asks Beaver to play the role of Smokey the Bear in the school play. She sends home a note with Beaver to seek his parents' approval. However, due to a misunderstanding, Beaver assumes he is in trouble and may be expelled from school. As a result, he hides the note and then later loses it. Wally helps Beaver compose a note in response to Miss Canfield's lost letter, informing her that Beaver has received a strict punishment for his wrongdoings. They conclude the message by forging the signature of Beaver's mother, June, and Miss Canfield, not yet knowing Beaver's parents, is perplexed by this overreaction to her request for Beaver to simply participate in the school play. However, she eventually talks directly with June, and the situation is quickly resolved. Everything works out in the end, as it always does. Diane portrayed Miss Canfield for only 4 episodes in that first season, before being replaced by Sue Randall as Beaver's new teacher, Miss Landers, in the second season. And despite her brief appearance, Diane's role was memorable. Another great episode is called Beaver's Crush, where Miss Canfield is Beaver's crush. However, when the kids find out, they tease Beaver, causing him embarrassment. And to prove that he does not have feelings for Miss Canfield, Beaver decides to prank her. Diane actually made an appearance on the pilot episode of Leave It to Beaver, an episode called It's a Small World, which was featured on the anthology series Studio 57. However, she did not portray the character of Miss Canfield in that episode. Instead, she played the role of Miss Sims, the secretary of Franklin Milk. Diane would later return to play Miss Canfield in 5 episodes of the 1980s reboot series, The New Leave It to Beaver. Throughout the 1950s, Diane appeared on various television shows and in several films. She acted alongside Glenn Ford in Torpedo Run and played the role of Paul Newman's mother in The Young Philadelphians, despite being 6 years younger than him. In 1960, Diane took a starring role in the TV adventure series The Islanders, playing Wilhelmina Steamboat Willie Vanderveer, which creator Richard Bear fashioned after Diane's character Samantha Crawford.
The Islanders, starring Bill Reynolds, James Philbrook, Diane Brewster, with Gordon Jones and Daria Massey, an MGM television production.
And initially, Diane did not want to participate. By 1960, she had married a successful oral surgeon and was pregnant with her first child. But Richard had directed the episode of Cheyenne, where Diane first played the role of Samantha. And he had also worked with her on Maverick, and they had become friends. And he was able to talk her into taking the role. The ABC show premiered on October 2nd, 1960, in the 9:30 p.m. Eastern slot, going up against Candid Camera and the Jack Benny Show. So that's a pretty difficult time slot. And The Islanders only lasted 1 season, plagued by bad reviews and a very sad and unfortunate accident. A plane carrying 5 crew members crashed into the Caribbean Sea. Now, Diane was not on board, but director Richard Bear and actor William Reynolds were. They survived, along with the assistant cameraman and the pilot. All of them had cuts and broken bones, but sadly, cameraman George Schmidt lost his life in that crash. Diane played the small but impactful role of Helen Kimball, the unfortunate wife of Dr. Richard Kimball in the well-known ABC drama series The Fugitive. But by the mid-1960s, Diane had all but vanished from showbiz. She had had her second child, a daughter, and just enjoyed being a mother. She was virtually unseen until the new Leave It to Beaver pulled her out of retirement. And her last on-screen appearance was as Miss Canfield in the 1988 episode The Great Debate. Diane passed away on November 12, 1991, of heart failure. Diane was only 60 years old.
He's still down. Morning, Dorothy. Any messages?
Here, Howard. That was a message from an important customer. But you know, every interaction on the phone is important. Of course, some may seem more complicated than others. But the basic goal of any business telephone conversation is just one thing: to communicate clearly. Excuse me.
If you have a favorite scene of Diane's from Leave It to Beaver, or one of her movies, or Maverick, or The Islanders, please let me know what it is below in the comments. And thank you so much for watching.